Hi y'all, this is Zach, the content creator for World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Hopefully you guys are in a good of health as always, since that we are going to venture into the new adventure in Shadowlands. I believe to perhaps want to share with you all a basic guide on soulbinds and conduit. Some of us might already know about this system, and some of us perhaps don't have any idea on what are these two things all about. What are those things actually? How do we unlock them, and as well how do we retrieve them? There are so many things to talk about with regards to these things, and hopefully you guys can learn something and enjoy. This time around in this video, we are going to talk about a basic guide for soulbinds and conduit system in Shadowlands. As usual guys, to ask for your utmost favor, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe for more future content, and remember to ring the bell. Let's get started. Looking to the standard mind mapping everyone for the points that shall be discussed for the mentioned subject and important or found useful. Alright, we are going through in detail for every section, and the first one is the detailing on soulbinds, and the second point is the conduits, which will be the main system that we are going to be dealt up with for this expansion. It is really straightforward guys, and let me do my best to explain this basic thing one by one. To get through with the definition of this, soulbinds and conduits are the two new systems which will be brought into Shadowlands that are really closely linked together. The path or access have those two elements are different to one another depending on your covenants of choice. Let us define what is soulbind. A soulbind is something like a NPC character from your covenant that you can bind or link your soul to it to acquire a few attributes which can enhance your character power. Through to this binding thing will lead to something like a panel, which is like an artifact talent tree. This talent tree gave benefits to your character in combat basis. The effect or power that you have gained depends on the characters or NPC soulbind that being binded. This will show the character's NPC talent tree, so within each soulbind path you are basically faced with some options, and you can select different routes down towards the soulbind depending on your aim, whether wants to have more healing or DPS power capabilities, or having like more utility spec build to face for a certain mechanics or content that you will be facing. Whatever it is all up to you to find the best for the soulbind talent kind of thing. Apart from that soulbind, inside the talent tree that they are like empty slots, whereby those are your conduits slots. We are going to talk about conduits in details after this. Next one is how do we unlock for these beautiful soulbinds? Well, generally you will get to access the first two of soulbinds for your selected covenants when you have completed the initial quest through the storyline of the covenants, including the weekly events kind of thing. Whenever you have done for all the quests, then the third soulbind option will be available for you once you have completed the covenant campaign. Just for your information, that basically you don't get access to all of the roles talents of the soulbind tree at the start. in order to access those is gaining your renown rank with your covenants, which I can say pretty similar on how you farming the reputation works, and you would unlock the roles as you progress further. More gain in renown, more access to your soulbind ability. The next question is, how do you level up your renown? Well, ladies and gentlemen, to gain your renown basically needs to complete a few of the Covenant chapters campaign, which later part you will be doing the same thing anyway through completing it as weekly quests, including Anima for your Covenant. You will be doing passively like by completing a quest where you need to gather lost soul from the Maw and return them to your sanctum. Oh my, wrongly taken for the soulbind ability or talent or whatever you guys wanna call it. Is it possible to reset it? Well, the answer is yes. Your soulbind tree is very simple on how you can reset, and actually you can do this as many times as you want. All you have to do is to go to the Forge of Bonds within your Covenant Sanctum, where you obtain your first soulbind at the beginning of acquiring your Covenant. After reset, click freely around for the path that you would like to choose. Do whatever you gotta do to find your best results as many times as you want, and the beauty part is that there is no resource cost to spend even cooldown on this. So when you have got 2 or 3 soulbind unlocked, all you have to do is to look on your minimap for the Covenant Sanctum button and click on that. Then under the soul buying powers, click on your current active soulbind. Once you have clicked the current activated soulbind, it will open up an interface, and from that point you can change and activate a different soulbind whenever the place you like, as long as it is rested area, or using the tome to reset the talent. The tricky part, which I can say, is that to reset the conduits which had been activated in the tree, whereby it is a little bit stricter and shall be explained shortly afterwards. Soulbind buffs and its abilities are specific to each soulbind for each covenant, so they are an important factor when choosing your suitable conduits. As the conclusion, that's all about soulbind for now. Alright guys, the next one is, what are conduits? This thing is like the other source of power to customize your soulbind trees that slightly enhance your class and spec. So for this conduit, they come in 3 different types, which are potency for DPS or HPS increased elements, aka throughput. Endurance offers a basically defensive or mitigation benefit, and lastly finesse conduits, which focus on improving the utility. But some part of it can increase the damage of a spell by roughly 1%, or it might reducing the cooldown of your active mitigation spells for a couple of seconds. But those values scales up through ranks, which will be explained later. Apart from that, everyone, you may notice that conduits are spec specific, whereby having like DPS, heal, or tank role specific to your class. So what you need to do now is to do some sort of research for the best conduits to slot in based on your spec, and as well for the soulbind for your different roles. For example, like my main spec is a DPS, and doing heals in Mythic Plus content, so I can have 2 different soulbind setup for those 2 different roles. With this kind of a different setup can benefit the most from your soulbinds and your conduits. This will swap or change if you change your spec, which automatically put you into the setup that you have made earlier. It is important to take note that the downside of this conduit thing is that you can only use a type of conduits once per soulbind. For example, let's say if you have 3 finesse conduits slots open with your soulbind, and you can't use the same finesse conduits 3 times. However, you can use the same conduits again for the 3 different soulbind respectively, aka that's 3 character NPC. Let's say if you want to reset your conduits, and who knows, you might mistakenly taken the conduits, or you want to change up something to increase the ability output, then you can do this again by going to the Forge of Bonds in your Covenant Sanctum and change it by clicking the button reset on your conduits. Well guys, this is the sad part. To reset this comes with a small resource cost in beta, and it might have actually a bit expensive after hit life later on. Hopefully it will not. A weekly lockout if you want to reset your conduits, but I believe that recent blue post mentioning that reset via power token kind of thing. As a disclaimer, this may be changed once Shadowlands launches. So the next question is, where do you get these conduits? Well, to obtain these conduits are really straightforward, because some of them coming from quests with multiple sources of where you can get this, from Covenant Renown progression, from dungeon, raids, and PvP content. Check out the fan base website or journals to know further for the other location to drop for the desired conduits. It might be from other sources that I didn't spell out. Alright everyone, let us talk about how to upgrade the conduits. And to upgrade the rank of a conduit is still a bit unclear on how does it works. Currently, we don't know the exact way on how to upgrade a certain conduit specifically, but recently on beta, the conduits can be upgraded randomly through Vanari, which is a vendor situated in the mall. Once you have at the max level, you will start to do some quests and all kind of stuff to acquire the currency called Stygia. This is the resources to buy the items from Vanari NPC. There are a lot of items that is up for sale from this vendor. The one which is the important part to buy from Vanari is the Manifest Aether's Hunt for the conduit thing. This item can add a conduit that you didn't have it on your collection first, and let's say if those conduits has been unlocked, the lowest rank of conduits in your list will be upgraded first. Currently, we know that a conduit contains 15 ranks. Each Manifest Aether's Hunt costs 500 Stygia as a resource that you will get from daily quests or world quests inside the mall. Do all the quests which rewards to you with Stygia daily and weekly in order for you to unlock the conduits fast at a certain point of view, even though this technique is not viable because of the specific conduits that you would like to rank up might be the last option after all the conduits unlocked and the lowest rank of conduits already been upgraded. That makes it on par with all conduits rank. Twisting Corridor inside Targas is also a great place to farm the Stygia, so you might doing this probably once a week. That is all I would like to say in term for this guide. Actually, it is pretty long enough, and hopefully it covered the basic part of the soulbinds and conduit system. Concerning about this conduit upgrade, hopefully Blizzard will implement a way that can get the conduit upgrade from a certain higher level of content, which rewards to you a higher rank of conduits based on content level. Doing this random thing upgrade for the conduits makes some people feel some sort of unhappy and pissed off a bit because of doing something which is not having specifically upgraded straight to the point. As a disclaimer again, perhaps it is still in beta and might be Blizzard has announced the viable method or source to retrieve this in an ideal way. Finger crossed and pray for the best. To end my video for now, as usual, it is just my personal overview which may be right or wrong. If you have any ideas, concern, opinion, anything to add up, feel free to drop under the comments box down below to discuss. Appreciate for your full support. Thank you everyone for watching and see you again in the next video. Take care, stay safe and have a pleasant day.